this video we'll be learning about price elasticity of demand. To start with, what do we understand by elasticity?
So when
Any ideas you want me to tell you, or
so is it like when a price is more elastic, like it can change more easily?
no? Elasticity is what measures the relationship between two variables, so price elasticity of demand is going to measure relationship or responsiveness or to changes in quantity demanded to price. But elasticity itself measures of one variable to another. So you're measuring the relationship or how one change in one variable will cause a change in another variable.
Okay.
So price elasticity of demand, it measures the responsiveness of demand of a commodity to the change in its price. So how do we calculate PED? We calculate PED by using the formula. Insert equation. So we'll use this one. Okay. So to measure PED, we talk about percentage change. Okay. In quantity demanded over percentage change in price. For normal goods, what we've got to remember, PED will always be negative. Why? First of all, let's put down some memos over here to remember. So percentage sign do I have that sign here? Nope. Or could it be easier just to take it from here? Yep, that'll be easier. And is equal to change. Sorry. You'll need to remember that the PED for most normal goods will always be negative. And why? Though we do not normally talk about it, we only talk about the number, we only talk about the magnitude, right?
Yeah.
Now, why is that the case? Let's try and understand this. This is because of the relationship between quantity demanded and price. We know that law of demand states that as price increases, quantity demanded falls. It's because of that. So what we are saying is price increases, okay, demand false. So if such a question, right, remember, if you get this in your multiple choice questions, right, and they might give you, let's say the PUD is 2.
Mm-hmm.
So do check, sometimes what they do is in MCQ, they'll give you two options, one which is 2 and the other which is -2.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the right answer, 2 or -2?
-2.
-2 normally. But do look at that, some goods like Veblen goods will have a positive PED. Why? Because demand will increase with the increase in price. But we're talking about normal goods, not Veblen goods.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, the measurements of PED curve, or PED itself, can be inelastic or relatively inelastic. And what that means is, let me sort this out. Yep. PED being inelastic or relatively inelastic means that the quantity demanded the change, the percentage change in quantity demanded is either none or less as compared to percentage change in price. I'll give you an example. Let's consider two goods, right? Fuel. Now, what do we normally use fuel for?
Well, it depends on what type of fuel. So like we use fuel that's
Normally for the car, I'm talking about petrol, diesel.
Oh, okay. Well,
So fuel is used for travel, isn't it?
yeah.
Right. Now, if prices of fuel goes up, so fuel is used for travel. If prices of fuel goes up, do you think people will consume less of fuel? Will consume too less? What do you think will be the people's reaction? What happens to consumption of fuel? Let's say the price of fuel has gone up by 10%. So if prices of fuel goes up by 10%, then the consumption, will it drop?
Yeah.
Will drop, yes. The fuel consumption, yes, you're absolutely right to say fuel consumption will drop. But do you think it's going to drop more than 10% or less than 10%?
I think it will drop. Well, by less than 10%.
And why would that be?
Because some people need fuel because they depend on it to go to work or so. And
yes, absolutely. So if price of fuel goes up by 10%, then the fuel consumption will drop by less than 10%, as fuel is a necessity, as you rightly said, to travel to work, etc. So demand for fuel for leisure purpose might drop considerably, but fuel is mostly needed to travel from home to work by most of the people, isn't it? And that will drop, but not as much. So if I said PED equals to percentage change, as we said earlier on, percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in price. And let's say the price of fuel has gone up by 10%, and we consider, okay, we assume by 5%. So what do you think would be the PED? It would be 5% divided by 10% change in price, and how much would that be? 5.
Yeah.
The 10 0.505, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 5% divided by 10% is 0.5. And if we wanted to draw this, sorry, on the drawn our x-axis, y-axis. On the y-axis we have the currency symbol, pound. And the x-axis we put our QTY, quantity. Now, what sort of a demand curve would we have over here? Where PED is inelastic, as we can see, PED is equal to 0.5. Would it be a vertical curve, something like this, it's with a steep slope? Or do you think it's going to be one?
I think it would be one that's like quite vertical.
Quite vertical, yes, with a steep slope. But there are certain goods where if the price increases or decreases, the quantity demanded may not change. So there are goods where the price increase or decrease may not change the quantity demanded for them. Can you think of an example? If the price for certain goods go up or lower, people are still consuming the same sort of quantity.
Well, I would say food, but like
Food still
that depends
yeah.
on the different prices of food.
Different types of food as well, isn't it?
I would say so something like cigarettes,
Cigarettes, yeah. Or
alcohol.
what about life-saving drugs? It's debatable because life-saving drugs might, if it becomes too expensive, then some people may not be able to afford it, and demand might move inwards.
There's two types of when you say like life-saving drugs, what do you mean? Because like the type of drugs like so pharmacy drugs.
No, I'm talking about life-saving drugs which you have to have. Let's say, for example, diabetes, you need to have your insulin. If the price of insulin goes up, you still can't just turn around and say, okay, I'll have less of insulin. I need to have it. Does that make sense? Or let's say, for example, statins and things like that, which apparently in our country we are prescribed by NHS, and there are means. If you can't afford it, then the government provides them to you if you're on benefits. But in countries where you have to pay for them, that's the sort of example I'm using. So they might then say, right, the price fluctuates, but the quantity demanded is not changing. So what we have is a vertical demand curve.
So demand just stays the same.
Absolutely.
Unless like there's more people with diabetes, then the demand goes up, wouldn't it?
Then the demand shifts. The demand curve will shift to the right. If you're moving on the demand curve, that's just the change in the price. Over here, you're talking about a factor where you're saying more people are becoming diabetic. Then the demand curve will actually shift to the right. So this one is your inelastic curve. And this one is relatively inelastic demand curve.
Okay.
Are we happy with this?
Yeah.
Moving on to relatively elastic and elastic demand curve. Perfectly elastic. So I would say this one is, let's say, perfectly, that's a better way of saying, perfectly inelastic. And you happy with this? inelastic demand curve. Right. Pet is greater than 1, or the change in quantity demanded, percentage change in quantity demanded is more than the percentage change in price, and less than equal to. So if I wanted to put that symbol, let's go. Yep. I'll have to get this infinity symbol as well, which is here. So what this means is the percentage change in QD is greater than percentage change in price. Yeah. Now, if I use the visual of a demand curve to understand how it's going to behave, let me just copy this down over here. Let me just use these two to save some time. Okay, let me just move this up out of the way. If I look at a horizontal demand curve, so if I look at a horizontal demand curve, is the price changing over here?
No.
But if I look at the quantity on that horizontal demand curve, so what's happening to the quantity?
It's increasing.
It's increasing, or it may fall from Q2 to Q1 or Q1 to Q2.
Q1 to Q2.
Yeah. But has anything happened to the price?
No.
So the price hasn't changed. Let's say this change in Q1 to Q2, right? I put that down as PD, yeah. And the change between Q1 and Q2 is, let's say, 10%. Okay?
Okay.
For assuming. And what is the percentage change in price? Has the price changed?
Price change. Yes.
No, the price is P1, isn't it?
Okay.
If the price has not changed, then what would be the percentage change in price?
If it has changed, if it hasn't changed, it will be still 10%, wouldn't it?
No, it'll be 0.
Oh.
Because the price was P1, let's say 10 pounds. At Q1, at Q2, the price is again 10 pounds. If I change this with numbers, just to make it simple, 100, yep. And let's say this became from 1000, let's say 1100. Okay. So 1100 on 1000, that's 10% increment. Is the price changing over here? No, it's 100 still. But 10% divided by 0 We know anything divided by 0 is equal to what? Infinity?
Anything divided by 0 is equal to 0. Equals 0. Right.
Anything divided by 0 is equal to infinity.
Are you sure? Like,
absolutely.
no, because like on a calculator or something. So like, let's say. Like 7 divided by 0. Error.
Or infinity.
Okay, yeah. I'll just like. Is that with on economics or?
No, that's what we assume in as mathematicians, that anything divided by 0 is infinity, because there's no answer to it.
Okay.
So that is why we say that the price over here is not changing, but the quantity demanded is changing, which could be, let's say, a paradigm. There's an earthquake, there's a natural event, and what people do is they start hoarding on necessities. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So that is why. But this is how it is. Okay? On the other hand, let's say the price increased from 100 to 105. Yeah. And just to make it easier, let's say the quantity demanded fell from 1000 to 900. PUD is equal to, now what is the percentage change in quantity demanded? From 1000 it's fallen down to 900, that's 100 units.
10%.
So that 10%, yeah? Divide by, the price has gone up. Because the price went up, the quantity demanded reduced from 1000 to 900, isn't it? How much has the price gone up by?
5%.
5%. 10% divided by 5% equals
10% divided by 5%, 2.
2. Right. Now, percentage gets cancelled. PED is just in individual units.
Okay.
Okay. So this is 2. And we have a horizontal
No.
curve. Yeah. Demand curve. Any questions so far?
No.
So we can now safely say you've got a perfect horizontal line or demand curve is your perfectly elastic curve. Whoops. Put that back. It's testing me now. It is. It wants to test me. Alright, we'll just do it this way. So this is your and this is your elastic. And because anything divided by 0, as we discussed, is a value that cannot be determined, and what we do in maths is we just put that down as an infinity, right?